The city skyline glittered against the night sky as Ryan Blake leaned back in his leather chair staring at the calendar on his desk. Another charity gala, another evening where he would be scrutinized, whispered about, and judged for not having someone on his arm the way people in his circle did. He had built Blake Enterprises from the ground up. He was known as one of the sharpest minds in the industry, but at every event the question was always the same: when will you settle down, Ryan? When will your daughter have a mother? He rubbed his temples. His daughter Chloe was only 6 years old, a bright bundle of energy who was the only light in his otherwise lonely world. Her mother had walked out when she was barely a year old, unable to handle the responsibility. Ryan had promised himself that Chloe would never feel unloved, never feel abandoned the way he had when his parents were too busy running after money, but the truth was he struggled. He was both father and mother, both protector and nurturer, and sometimes he wondered if he was doing enough. The gala was important. Investors, donors and business partners would all be there, and he knew his competitors would love to see him stumble. A single father with no partner beside him, vulnerable, a target. His assistant Megan had suggested something outlandish. What if he hired someone for the evening, not permanently, not for anything scandalous, just a companion, someone who could play the role of his girlfriend so that he would not look alone? Ryan had scoffed at first, but that night as he stared at the calendar he picked up his phone and dialed the number. Megan had slipped onto his desk, a discreet service that provided professional companions, not escorts, but women who could blend into any social gathering, carry themselves with grace and charm, and leave at the end of the night. It was purely business. When Emily Carter walked into the cafe the next morning for the meeting, Ryan almost thought he had walked into the wrong place. She was nothing like what he had expected. No glamorous dress, no heavy makeup. Instead, she wore a simple white blouse with jeans, her dark brown hair tied loosely, her hazel eyes holding both warmth and curiosity. She smiled gently as she approached him. Her presence was calming and strangely genuine. "You must be Mr. Blake," she said, extending her hand. Ryan shook it, firm and businesslike. "Yes, thank you for meeting me. I'll be direct. There's a gala I need to attend and I cannot go alone. It's an important night for my company, and for appearances I need someone to accompany me." Emily nodded. "I understand. My role is to blend in, make conversation, and ensure you appear at ease in the company of others, correct?" "Exactly," Ryan said, though his gaze lingered a moment longer on her calm confidence. "I'll compensate you, of course." She shook her head softly. "Let's discuss terms later. First, I need to know, are you comfortable pretending I'm your girlfriend?" Ryan's lips curved slightly in amusement. "For one night, yes." "And outside that night?" she asked. "No, outside of that night, nothing." Emily studied him for a long moment, then smiled. "All right, Mr. Blake, I'll do it." The deal was simple, and Ryan thought that would be the end of it, but life had a way of twisting simple plans into complicated stories. When Ryan came home that evening, Chloe was waiting at the door, her curls bouncing, her eyes shining with excitement. "Daddy, Daddy," she squealed, wrapping her little arms around his legs. "Did you bring me something?" Ryan chuckled, scooping her up in his arms. "Not today, princess, but I do have something to tell you. I need to go to a party soon and someone will be coming with me." Chloe tilted her head. "A party like a princess ball?" "Something like that," Ryan smiled. "You'll like her, she's very nice." When the night of the gala arrived, Emily stepped out of the car and Ryan almost forgot how to breathe. She wore a deep navy gown that fit her perfectly, not flashy but elegant, her hair cascading down her shoulders. She walked with quiet grace. When she placed her hand on his arm, it felt surprisingly natural. The whispers at the gala started immediately. "Who is she? Where did he meet her?" But Ryan ignored them, focusing on Emily's steady presence. She laughed softly at conversations, charmed the donors with her wit, and made Ryan look at ease for the first time in years. But it was later, when they returned home, that the unexpected happened. Chloe had stayed up past her bedtime, waiting eagerly. Ryan had wanted to send Emily off with a polite thank you, but Chloe's eyes widened when she saw her daddy. "Is she the lady from the ball?" Emily crouched down, smiling warmly. "Hello, you must be Chloe. I've heard a lot about you." Chloe studied her, then giggled. "Daddy, she's so pretty. Can she stay forever?" Ryan froze, his heart caught in his throat. Emily's smile faltered just a little, but then she leaned closer and said softly, "I wish I could, princess." Ryan quickly ushered Chloe to bed, but her words echoed in his mind all night. Can she stay forever? He reminded himself it was a one-night arrangement, just business, nothing more. But the next morning Chloe's first words were, "Where's Emily, Daddy? When is she coming back?" Ryan sighed, telling himself it was better to end things cleanly, but fate seemed determined to test him. Megan called that afternoon, reminding him of another upcoming event, the investors' dinner. "You should bring her again, she was perfect. People are still talking about how comfortable you looked with her." Ryan hesitated, but when Chloe ran into his office clutching a drawing she had made of him, Emily and herself all holding hands under a rainbow, he felt something shift inside. The next time he called Emily, she answered with surprise but agreed reluctantly. She told herself it was just another job. Yet as she stood beside Ryan again and Chloe ran to hug her like she was family, Emily's heart whispered a dangerous truth: she wasn't pretending anymore. For Ryan, every glance, every laugh, every small moment with Emily felt less like an act and more like something real. But he had built walls around his heart, tall and unbreakable. He couldn't let someone in just to risk Chloe getting hurt again. Still, at night when Chloe whispered, "Daddy, can Emily really stay forever?" he wished with all his soul that the answer could be. The weeks passed faster than Ryan expected. What was supposed to be a single night's arrangement slowly stretched into more appearances, more dinners, more moments where Emily became woven into their lives. Chloe adored her in a way Ryan hadn't seen before. She clung to Emily's hand when they walked together. She wanted her to read bedtime stories, and she always asked about her when she wasn't around. Emily had told herself countless times that she would draw a line. This was just work, she was hired to pretend. But she couldn't ignore the way Chloe's little arms wrapped around her waist, or the way Ryan's guarded eyes softened when he looked at his daughter laughing in her lap. Emily had worked many jobs in her life. After losing her parents early, she had grown up taking care of herself, working wherever she could to survive. This companion work was never meant to be permanent. It was a way to keep her bills paid while she pursued her dream of teaching children one day. But now, sitting at Ryan's dining table helping Chloe with her math homework, she felt something she hadn't felt in years: belonging. Ryan watched quietly from the doorway, his chest tightening. He had hired Emily for one night to silence the whispers of society, yet here she was 3 weeks later with crayons on her hands and flour on her dress from helping Chloe bake cookies. She didn't look like a hired companion, she looked like she belonged in their home, in their lives. But Ryan's mind warred with his heart. He remembered too well the pain of abandonment the night Chloe's mother had walked out, slamming the door, leaving him holding a crying baby and a shattered trust. He couldn't risk Chloe's heart being broken again. He couldn't risk his own. One evening, as Chloe fell asleep curled against Emily on the couch, Ryan sat across from her, his voice low, "Emily, we need to talk." Emily looked up immediately, her heart racing. She had been waiting for this moment. She knew it was coming. He would remind her this was only temporary, that her place here was borrowed time. She tried to prepare herself, but nothing prepared her for the raw honesty in his eyes. "This isn't what I planned," he admitted, running a hand through his hair. "You were supposed to be here for one night, but Chloe, she looks at you like you're the sun, and I don't know how to tell her that you can't stay." Emily swallowed, her throat tight. "I never meant to confuse her, Ryan. She's a wonderful little girl. She deserves stability and love. I would never hurt her." "I know you wouldn't," he said quickly, his voice softening. "It's not you I don't trust, Emily. It's me. I don't trust my own judgment when it comes to letting someone in. I've already failed once. I can't fail Chloe again." Emily's chest ached. She wanted to tell him he hadn't failed, that raising a daughter alone while running a company was nothing short of remarkable, but she also knew that words would not erase scars. All she could do was whisper, "I understand." The following week Ryan tried to create distance. He told himself it was for Chloe's sake, that the less Emily came around the easier it would be to let go. But Chloe's eyes dimmed. She asked every day when Emily was coming back. She drew pictures of the three of them together and left them on Ryan's desk with small hopeful smiles. One night after a particularly long day at work, Ryan came home to find Chloe curled up in bed clutching her teddy bear, her eyes red from crying. She whispered, "Daddy, I asked the stars if Emily could stay forever, but maybe they don't hear me." The words broke him. He sat beside her, brushing her curls back from her forehead, and in that moment he realized that it wasn't just Chloe who wanted Emily to stay, it was him too. He had been pushing her away out of fear, not because she wasn't right for them but because she was too right. The next morning Ryan showed up at Emily's apartment unannounced. He stood at her door feeling strangely nervous. When she opened it, her eyes widened. "Ryan, what are you doing here?" He exhaled heavily. "I need to say this before I lose my courage. You weren't supposed to matter, but you do, not just to Chloe but to me. You've become part of us and I can't keep pretending otherwise." Emily's hand trembled on the door, her heart pounding. "Ryan, this was never supposed to be real for me either, but it is. Chloe, she's like the little sister I never had, and you make me feel safe in a way I haven't in years." For the first time in a long time Ryan smiled, a genuine unguarded smile. "Then stay," he whispered. "Don't just stay for Chloe, stay for me." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I will if you'll let me." From that day on things changed, not overnight, not with grand declarations but with small steady steps. Emily moved slowly into their lives. She was there in the mornings making pancakes with Chloe. She was there in the evenings helping with bedtime. She even attended meetings with Ryan, sometimes offering insights he hadn't considered. Her presence wasn't loud or demanding, it was gentle, constant grounding. The whispers in society continued. People speculated about who she was, where she came from, but Ryan didn't care. For the first time he wasn't thinking about appearances, he was thinking about happiness, about family. One evening as the sun set, painting the sky with gold, Chloe ran into the living room with a paper crown on her head. She climbed onto the couch between Ryan and Emily, grinning, "Daddy, Mommy." Ryan and Emily froze, their eyes meeting over Chloe's head. She had said it so naturally, so innocently. Emily's heart twisted with both joy and fear, but before she could correct her, Chloe leaned against her, whispering softly, "You can stay forever, right?" Emily kissed the top of her head, her voice trembling, "Yes, sweetheart, forever." Ryan reached over, taking Emily's hand, his thumb brushing across her skin, and for the first time he didn't feel fear, he felt peace. Months later Ryan stood at the edge of the same gala where it all began, but this time he wasn't pretending. Emily stood beside him, her hand in his, Chloe twirling in a little dress between them. The whispers came again, but Ryan barely heard them. He looked at the two people who had turned his house into a home, his nights into laughter, his fears into hope, and he knew the truth. He hadn't hired a date for one night, he had found the missing piece of his family. And when Chloe tugged his sleeve, whispering, "Daddy, isn't it time you asked Emily to really stay forever?" he bent down, kissed his daughter's cheek and whispered back, "Soon, princess, very soon." Because this time forever wasn't just Chloe's wish, it was his too.